Hi, it's Brandon from ThirstGym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the bench press versus bands and chains. Now this is an exercise obviously used to help build your bench press, your upper body strength. And there's a combination of setting up bands and chains for the exercise, and we're going to talk about why that might be useful. So to begin, I have our bands set up, and I would say that whatever bands you normally use for any kind of dynamic effort or max effort based work, you're going to want to go down a band strength level. So the pitfall to this exercise is you probably need a decent relative bench press strength. So this may not be for all the girls out there that are in the lower numbers, less than 200 pounds. I think you probably want to be about a 200-pound bench presser before you start implementing exercise like this, because the 5/8 chain and just the bands on by itself, we're talking about a decent amount of accommodating resistance without even adding any weight to the bar. Now, I've got micro mini bands here to be able to go down. So I normally do my bench pressing with mini bands from Elite. So I went down here, and I usually use 2 to 3 chains on each side to speed bench. So I have one chain, a set of chains on each side here. And so what this is going to do, this is going to allow us to get some of the overspeed eccentrics that normally come from the bands. We're just not going to get quite as much, and we're also going to get some of the minor instability that we get from the chains that's going to deload. So think of this a way as almost mixing them together and getting the best of both worlds, but you are going to feel a little bit hunkered down with those bands just a little bit, but it's going to feel a lot better. So if you feel like when you're benching with bands, you're just always locked in the same position, there's not a whole, you almost feel like you're on a Smith machine, this might be a great variation for you. I also say, obviously, is another variation just in general. So when it comes to conjugate-based work, you can set a new PR with an exercise like this. You can obviously load it up as well. You can keep your normal bands on, just add a chain and get a little bit more accommodating resistance to focus on your lockout. There's lots of variations and applications that you can use for something like this. So to show you and just demonstrate real quickly, I'm going to set up my normal bench press position here. So knuckles towards the ceiling, squeeze the bars in the meat of my hands. I'm going to set my shoulders, set my feet, be in a good strong position here. And then I'm going to unrack the weight, bring it out, let it settle, come down, press. Then rack. Okay. So as you can see, nothing really all that crazy. Now you'll notice that I have the chains on the outside. That's because I'm using band pegs. I don't want the chains to get caught on the band pegs. So if you're not using band pegs, you just got them wrapped around your rack or what have you. You don't have to worry about that. The easy loaders, I do think I make it easy. If you're looking at all the ways to set that up, we have all those videos in terms of how to set up bands and chains for the bench press specifically on our YouTube channel and our website. So that's how everything works. It's really not anything that special in terms of the setup and the execution. Now, how would you program this? Obviously, this can be a max effort variation, so a heavy single, double, or triple, and then that could be your main top set for the day. You could use this as a supplemental based exercise, so let's say that your main bench press variation for the day was just a bench press versus one chain per side. Well, you're wanting to work on a little bit more speed and work on the lockout on that exercise, so then you decide to add the bands on there for your supplemental. That would be something you could do. The thing is, after you do your normal bench press work, you realize, hey, I need a little more oomph off the chest. So you set this up so you get a little bit of the overspeed eccentrics, but you also get some chain weight. That's also a viable option. The other main thing I will say that most people probably use this for is for a dynamic effort wave and a way to mix things up. Most people only bench press against bands or against chains and keep them mutually exclusive. I'm guilty of this. I've done it for years. That's how I used to do it. And I started to mix some of this around in my training as well. As I got older, sometimes it is a logistical pain in the butt to set up, but I was training in a garage at this time, so it wasn't that big of a deal. In a commercial gym, it may be a little bit harder. However, it's just another variation for your dynamic effort waves so that you can continue to make progress and focusing on that speed and power. So I will also add that if it comes from a logistical piece, if you don't have as many chains as you need, or you don't have as many pair of bands as you need in your facility and you work with multiple people, what have you, this is also a way to remedy that so you have enough accommodating resistance. Otherwise, with normal speed work, it's going to stay about the same 40 to 50, 55% of your bar weight for about 8 to 10 triples, keeping your rest under about 60 seconds, and you should be good to go. So that's how you do the exercise. Again, not that complicated, just another variation to throw at you, give you some opportunities to hit new PRs, change up your dynamic effort training, and see the benefits of how you can utilize both the overspeed eccentrics, but also the instability component that comes from the chains. So if you got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.